Good morning, class 12 students. Today I am going to continue with the second part of this chapter, which is going to deal with your vegetative reproduction portion. Now, before starting vegetative reproduction, let me tell you or give you a brief idea about what is vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction is the process of multiplication in which a portion or a fragment of the plant body function as a propagule and develops into a new individual. So they are trying to tell you that a specific portion is actually functioning like a propagule so that a new individual can be developed out from that propagule. Vegetative propagation is a form of asexual reproduction in plants. Among the flowering plants, a number of herbaceous and perennial plants propagate vegetatively in nature. Root, stem, leaves, and buds are the common structure that take part in vegetative propagation. By these above ways, it's been seen commonly that the above ways are useful in vegetative propagation and develops into a new plant. The method of vegetative propagation can be widely divided into two methods. First one you can call it as natural, and second one you can call it as artificial. I have given you the schematic representation. Just follow what is being given. Vegetative propagation can be divided into natural vegetative propagation and artificial vegetative propagation. Natural vegetative propagation can be done by roots, stem, leaves, and bulbils, while artificial vegetative propagation can be done by cutting, layering, grafting, approach grafting, and micropropagation. Now, from what are the ways you can vegetatively propagate your stem? Underground stems are there, subaerial stems are there, and aerial stems are there. What are the examples of your underground stem vegetative propagation? Rhizome, tuber, bulb, corm, sucker. And in case of subaerial, runner, offset, stolon. And in case of artificial vegetative propagation, only layering has been divided into basically two portions, soil, air. But further on, there are many more to go, like your mound, simple, serpentine, trench, drop, etc. Okay, so now we are going to move into the topic which is termed as natural vegetative propagation, a little more into details. So what is happening? Let's know what is it happening in this process. In this method, vegetative propagules generally get detached from the mother plant and try to develop into a new plant. But remember that obviously they are going to need suitable condition for performing this. This type of reproduction involves your roots, stem or leaves. It takes place through these following methods. First method takes place by propagation by roots or the tap roots and the adventitious roots, like the taproot which you will find in case of albizia, adventitious root in case of dahlia or sweet potato, try to propagate plant vegetatively. Adventitious buds develop from both taproot and adventitious root are planted into the soil. So buds are already started developing from taproots, and adventitious roots are being taken and been planted in the soil to give rise to a new plant. Obviously, because by planting that root, the main purpose will be by planting that root, you need to propagate that root and produce another portion. So when your adventitious buds are developed from the taproot, then obviously adventitious roots are going to be planted in the soil. Okay, next process comes to be known as propagation by stem. Now propagation by stem is also been classified into your underground modified stems, uh, creeping and aerial stems, and many more categories. But the common ones you need to do just you need to know a little more in details. What is this? Let me tell you what are these. First, propagation by stem. These serves as a mean of propagation in form of suckers, which you find in Chirasthemum, rhizome, which also possess bud to give rise to new plant, which you will find in ginger. Then corms of colocasia, buds, tubers which have buds in nodes and internodes, bulb of onion give rise to new plants. So actually basically these are rhizomes, suckers, corms, tubers, bulbs. These are actually a portion of stem only. These are underground modified stem, which is ultimately giving rise to the vegetative part of the plant in different direction. That means from this part a new outgrowth can be formed vegetatively. Then obviously you also have creeping stems. Creeping stems are nothing but your runners, your stolons. Then you have the aerial stem like your phyllocates which occur in Opuntia, and some other plant which can form a new plant. Sugarcane is propagated by planting segments of stems having at least one node. See, the pictures are also given. I have given you the picture and two animated videos. At the one side of this one side of this presentation, you can see the buds, the old stem, how your tuber formation is taking place. That is a picture, and rest two are your videos. I am showing you what happens. See how your tuber formation is taking place. And this is the root formation. See, the tuber formation is taking place, how the growth is been starting, and this is the root formation, which so you can observe how the formation of the growth of the roots are taking place. So this side is your growth by how propagation is taking place by root. In middle you have a video to show you the propagation by stem, and over at the another side I have given just a picture to show you the propagation by stem portion, to be more specific the tuber portion of the stem. Then comes to the process which is being termed as propagation by leaves. So leaves of many plants possess your adventitious buds like your Bryophyllum, Begonia. In Bryophyllum, buds are marginal notches of the intact leaf from plantlets while attached to plants. In Begonia, the injured leaves develop into new plant. So the margins of the succulent and fleshy leaves of Bryophyllum contains the adventitious buds in their notches, and when these leaves generally fall on the ground, the buds develop into small plants. So basically they are trying to say that outgrowth takes place in the leaf, and once the leaf get detached from the mother plant, the leaf will again reproduce vegetatively another new same category of plant. Then comes to the next process, which is known as propagation by bulbils. The bulbils are your fleshy buds which take part in vegetative propagation, like which you can observe in Agave, Dioscorea. Some lower flower of inflorescence undergo modification to become a small multicellular body due to shortage of food matter known as bulbil. Yes, actually bulbils are generally found in lower categories of inflorescence, and they are multicellular, that means they are many celled in nature, and due to shortage of food they have that shape, that structure. See, I have given you some pictures in this portion. You can see the propagation is being done by leaves, how the outgrowths are actually taking place. You can see this animated videos, and see this is the way actually your bulbal development also takes place. So the first animation is showing you propagation by leaves, and the second one is actually basically showing you the bulbal formation or the features of a bulbal. See? Okay, now you need to know what is gemma. Gemma is a cup-like structure, which this type of feature you will get in only specialized multicellular structure or in certain liverworts like your Mertensia. Liverworts are another different taxonomic group which you have already done in class 11. So let me tell you actually what is this gemma all about. So these are specialized multicellular structure are produced, which are called a gemma or gemma, developed on the thallus for the purpose of vegetative propagation. Now they have a cup-like structure. You can see from the picture the development of this gemma takes place in a cup-like structure, and after detachment they from the mother plant they generally develop into a new individual. Okay, then come to the next topic, which is your artificial method of vegetative reproduction. Right now we were doing natural method, that means it was being done naturally by cultivating when your stems are getting detached or when your roots are getting detached, they are falling and getting the suitable condition and generally developing into a new individual. But right now we are going to move into the artificial process where people are taking the effort to select the desired variety to get a proper result. So artificial vegetative propagation are man-made techniques developed for the propagation of desired varieties of plants. The various techniques are your cutting, layering, grafting, micropropagation, and so on. So first method will be your cutting. What is cutting? Let me tell you. Cuttings are your cut pieces of your root, stem, leaves, which when placed in soil can sprout to form new plants. Cutting is also acts like a detachment of a part of a plant to grow into a new plant. Young healthy lateral branches are suitable for this process. Some of the leaves may be removed to reduce transpiration to conserve water. Cut end of the stem is placed into well-drained aerated compost. A new root system develops at the cut end. So once your proper system has been developed, that means you are achieving success towards this process of cutting. Now why do you perform this cutting? Because there are certain advantages. What are those advantages? This process being fast, easy, cheap, and new plants are genetically identical to their parental plant. Now different types of cuttings are can be done: root cutting, stem cutting, leaf cutting. But remember, when you are performing root cutting, if application of certain artificial plant hormone like IAA, indole acetic acid, or IBA, indole butyric acid, or NAA, naphthalene acetic acid, if are employed in this process of cutting, then they can give you a fruitful result. See, I have given you a video also where they are showing this process. See how we are cutting it, and then we are going to select what to do and what not to do. Okay, so this was what about cutting. And when I'm talking about root cutting, stem cutting, leaf cutting, you know what are the specific portion that they will be, or what are the specific portion you need to cut and continue with the process. Then the next process is layering. In layering, the development of adventitious root is induced on the stem before it's been separated from the parent plant. Yes, before separation only the development starts. It's done in plants like your lemon, rose, strawberry, grapevine, etc. What are the features? Let me tell you. A young healthy stem is bent into a small hole with the terminal bud above the soil level. So you just need to select a healthy stem, and then you need to bend it into the small hole but above your soil level. The hole is filled with soil. Obviously the hole will be filled with soil. A new root system develops into an underground node. The root system will generally develop and it will act like your underground node. The terminal buds form a new shoot system. The new plant can then be separated from the parent. Once the shoot system has been formed, then obviously separation can take place from the parent plant. Now there are different ways of performing this layering. Mound layering, or booty or air layering, simple layering, serpentine layering, trench layering, drop layering, tip layering. So let me give you a brief idea about all these types of layering. What is mound layering? When the shoot is pruned and lower parts is covered by soil, when a number of shoots develop. So as I was telling that the shoot is going to get pruned. Pruned means the shoot needs to be trimmed, and then the lower part will be covered by the soil and your shoot development will start. Gutti is also a vegetative method of plant propagation which involves the rooting of your aerial stems which remain attached to the parent plant. Simple layering, where you need to get your desired soft vessel injured branch is generally pegged at one place. Pegging will take means when you are doing the process, you are sticking the process, attaching the process, you have to select only one place, like which is being done in case of cherry. Serpentine, where branch has been pegged as several. Obviously simple means only one place, and serpentine means at several places. Then you have trench layering, branch is pegged in horizontal position. Drop layering, when your plant is capable of forming several branches that grow in a deep soil, like you can observe in case of rhododendron. Tip layering, a shoot is bent in the soil in such a way that its basal end is slanting while the upper region is upright. Yes, basal end will be slanting in nature and the upper region will be upright. You can see the pictures that have been given. See, air layering picture I have already shown you. Simple layering, this is your tip layering picture. Serpentine layering picture. Trench layering, this was what I was talking about. Then mound or stool layering. So these are the different ways of layering which have been done. You can just go through these pictures. See, grafting is a process of artificial method of vegetative reproduction where you need to find or you need to cut a desired variety of plant which has been termed as sign or graft, and that graft needs to be transplanted on another rooted plant which is called your stalk. So basically you need one graft, means a desired variety of plant, and you need to prepare another rooted plant which will be acting as your stalk. Once your sign and stalk is ready, you just need to transplant the graft into the stalk. After a few days, the cut end of your two different parts of the same species fuse by their tissue to become a single unit. Yes, when you are transplanting the graft into the stalk, ultimately they will be a single media in which the tissues are going to grow. So they are generally going to act as your single unit. The fused unit starts forming shoots and grows into a new plant, which you can get your common examples in which you can see this process of grafting is your mango, lychee, guava. These are the common ones. In this plant, grafting is done for preservation of the original character of your sign parent. Okay. So we have already almost done the portion, what is grafting, what is layering, what are the different types of layering. Now you just need to know what is the advantages of artificial vegetative propagation, why this propagation has been done. I have given you the points, just go through the points, and even the points have been provided in your biology book also, please go through them. First of all, quick production of new plants take place. then a combination of good quality of two different varieties you are getting it, and provide an excellent method for propagating desirable varieties of plant economically with less attention and comparatively shorter time. Yes, economically you don't require so much of funds to prepare this, but yes, comparatively you are getting a shorter time for it. Then comes to another process which is known as parthenogenesis. Now, parthenogenesis is a natural form of asexual reproduction. The special type of reproduction in which the egg, that means the female gamete of an organism, develop into new individual without undergoing any contact or any union is called your parthenogenesis. Now, parthenogenesis can also be observed in plants also and in animals also. So in plants, sometimes haploid gamete fail to unite because obviously the gamete is haploid. Generally what we know, the zygote is being formed which is diploid in nature, and that zygote is being formed by the union of two gametes. But parthenogenesis is such a reproduction where your female gamete is directly developing into a new individual without undergoing fusion with male gamete. So in case of plants, haploid gametes sometimes fails to unite and directly form a spore-like structure which you term as parthenospore. Parthenospore is also called azygospore, which germinate into new individual without undergoing meiosis. Why? Because first of all it is haploid in nature and meiosis reduction in nature. So in haploid gamete again meiosis cannot take place because in haploid gamete the number is half. Again meiosis is taking place, the number will there won't be any kind of number only then left. So therefore meiosis cannot take place, it has to be mitotic in nature. The process of formation of new individual form a parthenospore is generally termed as parthenogenesis, which you get the examples of where you can find this process is your Spirogyra mucor. These are for plants. And in case of animals, you can get it in ants, bees, aphids, rotifers, many invertebrates, and also many invertebrates, etc. Now you need to be aware of two more new terms, which is your neoteny and pedogenesis. So let me tell you what is neoteny. So I have given you neoteny is the retention by adults in species of traits previously seen only in juveniles. Yes, now you need to know what is this neoteny. Generally, animals after attaining their adult stage have the power to multiply through sexual reproduction. But in some animals, due to certain environmental metamorphic defect, metamorphic defect means the environmental change. When metamorphism means the change of the process, the change through which the animal is going through. So while going through that phase of changes, there are certain times it can happen that certain problems it can face. So due to the defect of environmental metamorphosis of larval stage stops. So if they are facing the problem, the larval stage has to stop. In addition to normal time, more time is being required to retain the characteristic of this larval stage permanently. That retention of the character of larval stage through quite a long time, that is called your neoteny. Okay. Now see, in neoteny, the physiological development of an animal or organism is slowed or delayed. Yes, because it's taking a huge time to get into the next phase. Ultimately, the process results in retention. An adult of a species of juvenile, their physical characteristics well into maturity. If once they are getting the process, again the defect is being changed, they can generally move into the next stage. But if it's not, then obviously they need to retain in that juvenile phase. In vertebrate neoteny is most identified in your sexually mature, completely viable juveniles or larvae that are being formed. Now comes the last topic for today's class is your pedogenesis. It's a mean of reproduction shown by animal that is still in the larval or the pre-adult form. It's still in the larval form. It's still in the pre-adult form. It has not reached the end of maturity. So when the larva, young and incompletely developed animal start reproducing, that process known as pedogenesis. It's been young. It has not got the maturity, but still it's been capable of reproducing. The reproductive organ or gonads mature fully in the larval stage. Yes, though they are not, both their body are not fully matured, but their gonads, their reproductive organs are being matured. That's why they can reproduce. So, and how they are going to reproduce? They are going to reproduce by the mode of parthenogenesis. Why? Because they have been haploid in nature, and if a process called parthenogenesis is there, then obviously these types of organism are going to utilize it fruitfully. Though their body are not been matured, but their reproductive organs are been properly matured, and they will undergo the process of parthenogenesis. It may be either parthenogenetic or bisexual. Now, where do you get this? In various parasites like your liver fluke may reproduce parthenogenetically through a series of larval generation. In vertebrate, your axolotl larva, a tailed amphibian, reproduce in the larval stage. This may be cited as your bisexual pedogenesis. Now, pedogenesis is generally divided into parthenogenetical pedogenesis and bisexual. Now, it depends how the organism is going to do. Right now, you just need to focus not into the details of the process. You just need to know what is neoteny, what is pedogenesis. That's all. More details you don't need to go right now only. Okay, so today it was only this much. Based on today's work, I have given you some work assignment which you need to do in your biology exercise notebook. Previous work I have not received yet. Please make sure that you submit your assignment in the given email ID provided at the end of this video. Now I have given you the question, but still I am going to repeat the question, and please write your answers according to the marks given. What is neoteny? What do you mean by parthenogenesis? Third question is differentiate between vegetative and asexual reproduction. For 2 marks I am giving you differences. I have not mentioned how many differences, so you are quite mature enough to know how many differences you should be giving me for 2 marks. Differentiate between sexual and asexual reproduction. What is hormogonium? Name one plant where bulbil is noted. What do you mean by gemme? What is clone? What is pedogenesis? What is azygospore? So these are the 10 questions which you need to do. Not a matter of big deal. So as I told you previously, for any queries or doubt, you need to just need to mail me. You cannot use my ID actually. You just need to mail your queries and doubts at this given email ID, which is ankita.sma@outlook.com. Even use this mail ID for sending your biology assignments regularly. So thank you.